Hey, what's going on? Rakeem Madison here, and in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to increase your credit score in 30 days. All right, so if you're super excited to learn exactly how to do that, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Also, be sure to smash that subscribe button if you want to learn how to build a long, sustainable business that will eventually give you the freedom you deserve. Also, tick that bell icon to be notified so that anytime I release any new videos, you get them automatically right here on the channel. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the content. So I'm going to kind of break this down into three different parts. First, we're going to start off talking about, what is a good credit score, what is a bad credit score, and what's kind of in the middle. And then we're going to transition into talking about the entire breakdown of your credit score. So what's more important and what's less important. Even though all of it is important, we're still going to talk about those two different things. Now, if you stick around a little bit more towards the end of the video, I'm going to actually go over the exact strategy I use to increase my credit score nearly 100 points in a 2-month span, okay? So if you want to learn how to do that, stick around to the end of this video. All right, so let's get right into today's content. All right, so let me go ahead and minimize my camera real quick. All right, so now that my camera is minimized, I'm going to go over here to the PDF. Now also stick around, watch this first, but at the end, if you want access to this PDF that I'm going to be, going over today's content with, that will be in the link in the description as well. I will email that right over to you. All right, so let's get into today's content. All right, so first things first, as you can see, the best credit score that you can have is an 850, okay? And the worst is a 300. None of us want to be at a 300. We really don't want to be at a 600. 650 is not that bad, but of course, most people, they want to be 700 and above, okay? So I just want you to understand these are the numbers that you have to work with. 850, between 300 and 850. So now you have where you want to be. You can see where you want to be. Now let's transition into what's important, what's the most important, what's the least important with your credit score. All right, so let's go ahead and go down to the whole score. So as you can see here, there's 5 factors to what basically affects, your credit score. So as we can see right off the bat, 35% is payment history. As simple as I can make that, that means that it's whether you're paying your bills on time, or you're paying your creditors on time, or you're not. If you're not paying them, guess what? That can drastically decrease your credit score. I'm talking 50 plus points and above. I've seen worse than that, okay? So pay your bills, pay the creditors on time. That is the thing that will drastically, I kid you not, okay? The second most important thing is the amount of debt. Okay, so this will be related to, like, let's say for instance you have, let's say $15,000 worth of debt, right? Worth of available credit, but you're using about 14,000 of that 15,000. Yeah, you're looked at as a high risk. You're not somebody who creditors really want to give money out to at that point, because they can see that you're pretty desperate, you don't know how to manage money, and so on and so on. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, so far we can see paying your stuff on time and the amount of debt that you have, that's 65% of your credit score right there. So if you screw these up, guess what? Your credit score is going to be ridiculously low. Okay? All right, so now what's like in the middle? Okay, so that's going to be the length of your credit history. So if you're just starting out with credit, then 9 times out of 10, that portion of your credit is not going to be the best. But the longer you actually have credit, this portion of your credit will pretty much automatically get better just because you've had credit for so much longer. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the more least important, but it's still important. Like I said, everything here is important because it makes up your score, but these are a lot less important. So here we go. New credit is worth 10%. Okay, so yes, they still want you to have, get out there and apply for some of these cards and, build up your credit. And then along with that is the other 10%, which is the credit mix. Okay, so do you have credit cards? Do you have car loans? Do you have a home loan? Like, do you have different types of credit, different types of credits coming from different areas? Like, hopefully, let me not confuse anybody. So basically, do you have a car loan? Do you have a house loan? Do you have retail credit? Different types of credit. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. All right. So as you can see, they also show you the maximum amount of points. So you automatically start with 300 points if you don't have any credit. That's what you're automatically going to start with. Then they show you the maximum amount of points, which is 192.5 for payment history, 165. I don't want to insult your intelligence, but you can see pretty much the maximum amount of points. Okay, so now that you have an understanding that you want to pay your stuff on time, you also don't want to max out your cars. That's what this portion right here really is. And then the 15% is how long have you had credit? They look at that too. This right here is the new credit. Are you showing that you're actually responsible with money, that you can manage it by, getting new credit and continuing to build and pay your stuff on time? So really everything correlates all to one, okay? And then of course the credit mix, where you're having different types of credit. All right, now let's get into the strategy, because I know that's why you're really here. You want to know, how can I increase my credit score in 30 days? Okay, now I'm going to show you how simple this strategy right here is. So simple, and I use it, and if I'm honest, I did this. I was able to do this a lot quicker because I implemented a simple cash flow strategy to go along with this strategy. But I'm just going to break down the strategy. And if you want to learn the cash flow strategy that I learned to be able to implement this a lot faster, and it made everything a whole less of a headache, then there'll be a link down in the description. But don't click that link yet. Let's stay focused on the strategy. All right, so here we go. It's called the Sustainable Credit Hack. I just came up with that name. It's not the real name of it, all right? All right, so here we go. So you're going to take your total balance and you're going to times that by 9% and under, okay? 9% and under. So here's an example for you. So let's say, for instance, you have an individual credit card and it's $300. You're going to take that. You're going to multiply that by 9% or lower. So meaning you can do it by 9%, 8%, 7%, and so on all the way down. And we're going to get into how you can actually play, pretty much play the trick on the actual bureaus, okay? All right, so here we go. So 300 times 9%, that equals $27. So that means that this amount right here is the amount that you want to have available. Not available, sorry. That's the amount that you want to have actually as a balance come the report date. So there's 2 dates. Let me actually go over those. So there's a due date that the creditor asks you to make the payment on, right? But then there's a report to bureau date. So the difference is, this is what they want you to pay on. This is what they're going to report to the big people. So the credit bureaus like Experian, TransUnion, and all the big bureaus, right? They're going to have a date that they report what this balance was. So if this balance is not 27 and you got a 300, guess what? It's higher than the 9%. Okay? Now, when you keep it at 9% and lower, this is where you're going to see those big jumps. This is how I was literally able to increase my credit score in 2 months, nearly 100 points. It was actually 97, but that's just about 100 points right there. And that was huge for me. And this is exactly the strategy I implemented just to make that happen, okay? So 300 times 9% equals $27. So $27 out of 300 is 9%. Okay, now what you want to do, let's say for instance the next month you're like, okay, out of the 300, I don't just want to spend that, right? And you paid it off. Let's say you wanted to do 100, you wanted to spend 150 out of your 300, which is 50%, which is not good at all, right? So what you want to do is, well, what you're going to have to do is, if you decide that you want to spend 150 out of your 300, that means that you're going to have to pay $123 to bring your balance back down to 27 before, once again, the report date before they send it out to the actual big bureaus, okay? And how you can find that report date is, let's say for instance you use Experian to monitor, or whatever credit monitoring system you're using. They'll usually show you like the amount of days you have before they actually report it to the credit bureaus. So that's the date that you want to make sure your balance is there at this $27. We're just using $27 right now because that's 9% of 300. But whatever your balance is times 9%, that's the amount that you want to have as a balance on the report date. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I'm not confusing anybody. Okay, so let's kind of go back. So as I said, 150, and you would take minus 27. That would give you the amount that you would need to pay if you decide to use that portion of your money. Okay, now my recommendation is to just keep it at you know, whatever, 9% or lower. Now, how do you want to, this is what you want to do. You don't want to just keep it at 9% every single month, okay? You want to play the game, and this is exactly what I was doing. Even after the 2-month span where I raised it 97 points, I said, okay, I'm going to go 9% this month. I'm going to go 8% this month, 7, 6, all the way down to 1, and then once I get to 1, I'm going to go back up. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's how you play, and they can see, okay, this person is pretty much managing their money, because remember, the only people who know what you spend throughout the month is going to be the direct creditor. The bureaus won't know what you do. So let's say for instance, like I said, you may spend 150, but if you paid 123 and it gets back to 27 before the report date, the big bureaus don't know that. They don't know that that happened. Only the direct creditor, which the person who you're paying, that's the people that are going to know what you did that. And all what really matters is the actual creditors, the big bureaus themselves. Okay, so that's literally the strategy. Hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully you get some value from this, and you're actually going to go out there and implement this, because this is a very simple strategy to follow. I kid you not. And this is literally how I raised my credit score just under 100 points. It was 97, as I said, guys. So if you want to learn more about how you can increase your credit and implement a simple cash flow strategy, there is a link down below in the description. I'll send you over this free PDF, this PDF that you can see right here. Right, I'll send you over this free PDF. You can take a look at it, and if you decide to move forward, right, all you have to do, my number is in the description as well as my Facebook. Add me on Facebook if you want to move forward with the same credit system and financial cash flow strategies that I've been using to be able to not only increase my take-home pay at my job, but also increase my credit score multiple times. That link will allow you to do that. Just send me a text or whatever you want to do to reach out to me, and I'll be sure to reach back out to you. All right, so with that being said, hopefully you got some value, and if you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, my friend. Peace.